Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift.
What's going on here? Hey, what's going on?
He didn't throw a block. Nothing. He did nothing. Why are we showing her?
What if there's a lion in Florida?
What if Spider-Man was loose in New York City?
Well, that's how you get the 2-for-1. You kill the cow, and the calf stays there, and you knock another broadhead. You take it out too.
Here we go. Angelo's canceled again.
I don't really care if you do it legally.
Once again, I failed you all.
Give me that freaking gun.
Smells bad or tastes bad?
Gosh, it's horrible.
That's the worst idea I've ever seen.
Why?
On any. How often do you lose your phone? Yeah, let's camo our phone case. It's almost like having a black phone case in a gym. It's a horrible idea.
Yeah.
But we do it.
I love my, I've got the magnet on the back so I can just stick it to stuff.
That's cool.
But it does, I just have to do 2 laps around the gym after every single workout because I stuck it onto something.
Yeah, they had a magnet option. It can't be good for your phone. The magnet, that being that close to your phone.
Said the guy who thought that you could air condition the world. Opened our windows.
Touche.
Yeah. I think that new iPhones have a magnet built into them.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, they got the MagSafe for the wireless charging, and it's actually strong enough for some of their holders and stuff. So it actually theoretically, but I heard a lot of bad stuff about the iPhone 15. That was a total flop. Did you hear that?
It's not a mag.
You're supposed to be able to fold the iPhone, so a lot of people did it and just snapped it. And some other stuff went way wrong.
It's titanium, right? The new one's titanium, and it has the charger of the future.
It does. Scott is so stoked.
Scott, you're a prophet.
I called this 2 years ago.
That was literally the only thing from keeping Scott from buying an iPhone.
Yeah, 3.5 years ago I called.
Because it wasn't USB-C?
It was literally his only hang-up between the two.
Scott was
some people, some people will die on the whole Android thing.
Oh yeah,
it's just let it go.
I died on the cable.
Yeah, Arthur sent me this whole thing where Android came out and saying that it's Apple's fault that they have the green text message and they need to update their technology. And I'm just no, it's still Android's fault.
I think it's actually what it is that
why would you
obviously
want to do that?
The technology exists.
Yeah,
they're just blocking each other on purpose.
Yeah.
They obviously have video conferencing capabilities and text messaging capabilities. There's no reason.
I just love how everybody with Android's it takes superior videos and pictures.
Yeah.
I'm yeah, but you can't share it with
anybody. Yeah.
Oh, but just download Google Drive or whatever. And I'm not doing that.
Yeah. And by the WhatsApp.
And by the way, how is your photography company going? Oh, you're not.
Exactly.
Oh, you're taking crappy home videos.
iPhone? Yeah. So there's that. But
just taking crappy home videos like the rest of us. That nobody's ever going to see.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to see.
Right. Nobody wants to see. Force other people to watch.
I mean, we got a lot going on, I guess. You want to, where should we start, man?
Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift? Just kidding. We will not talk about that at all.
The only thing I'll say is that
I'm so tired of seeing her on every broadcast.
Thank you.
Oh, my God.
The other night, I'm watching the game.
Thank you.
I'm watching the game. And whatever. It is what it is. Travis Kelce has nothing to do with the play. I can't remember if it was Edwards-Helaire or one of the running backs scores a touchdown, and they pan to her. He didn't throw a block. Nothing. He did nothing. Why are we showing her?
He even had a lackluster game. Yeah, dude. And seriously, ESPN, social media.
I'm just over it. Over it.
The only fringe benefit is that literally now Coco, my daughter.
Ryan Reynolds is in the box. Show him. He's cool.
Yes, yes.
And
could probably speak about football.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, now my 12-year-old daughter is now interested in football
because of
fringe benefits. So I'm okay with it. You know what I mean?
True. I did see that it was I forget some jump in percentage of women between 18 and 49.
I don't want to talk about this anymore. So I'm ending this conversation.
Yep, it's done.
My kids did, however, enjoy the Toy Story. Did you watch that?
Get some leg hair there.
Live from Andy's room. I don't know. Can you see me?
What's going on here?
Scott's fixing mid-podcast. Did anybody watch the Andy's Room podcast? Or Andy's Room?
A little bit, yeah.
I watched. It was very cheesy, but Trice loved it.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, so it was kind of cool. I mean, Trice is into football now, though, which is kind of cool. I'm basically just creating
a younger you,
a younger me, but people that I can lean into and share sorrow with. The Notre Dame. I'm creating that. They want to watch Notre Dame games, so I at least have somebody to cry with and yell at the TV with, and then the Lions too. So they're it's fun. The kids are getting into it. Trice will watch a lot of football games. They'll now hey, what team are we? I'm we don't really have a team, and they're all right, we're gonna be the other night. They're they wanted to be the red team, Chiefs, and so I'm all right, cool. And so then It just turns.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's been fun to have them. Jump in on that. Hillary will not. She doesn't care anything about.
It's not easy to do, but like especially at that age. And actually, you have a lot of connections, but getting them to live games, I think it really pushes
Trice,
them over.
We went to a Notre Dame game. I took Trice. I've not taken the girls. They didn't want to go to that one. But, man, that was such a cool experience because there were other dads in the stadium that, their sons either have grown up and not there, and so they, like, took Trice under their wing, and it was cool. Like, high five. They wanted a high five from Trice, so he loved it. We scored a bunch. I think it was against Navy, so they got to, it was cool.
Oh, yeah.
Or, no, it was Georgia Tech. And then, actually, when we went to the baseball, the Notre Dame Super Regional against Tennessee, a couple of the players' dads were right around us, and they hit home runs, and so they were all like, one of them grabs Trice, and it's just like, whatever. So it was cool. So he's getting there. It's fun.
Oh, I told you this already, but I didn't tell Angelo. I went to a deferred friends 20-year reunion for high school because ours was like COVID and it got shut down pretty much. And but I sold the kids on like, hey, dude, we're there for 36 hours. Like, it's not gonna be that much cool stuff, whatever. And then of course ran into one buddy. He's like, hey, dude, you want to go to the UT game? Like 50-yard line tickets, like everything fell into place, and he was pissed.
Mad.
Oh, he was so pissed. Yeah,
because that was a good game, wasn't it? They won that.
It was a great game,
right?
Yeah,
they did.
Yeah.
How about Auburn almost beating Georgia, like down to the wire. It was like 2.5 minutes left, and they finally scored, and Georgia broke through, and they scored pretty easily, and then it was like. It wasn't that close after that, but it was only 2 minutes left.
How about on the way to the UT game? I clocked out at the third quarter.
Texas around here. I agree with you that it's the UT, but
pardon me. Yeah, University on the way to the University of Texas game.
I think Tennessee's been around
100 years longer. So I'm on the way to the University of Texas game, and I'm checking in with my boys. And so in the third quarter, SC is leading by 3 touchdowns over over Dion.
Yeah.
And dude, I checked the final score, and they brought it like within one touchdown.
Yeah, it was close.
Stressful.
Are
we gonna do a podcast that week when SC Notre Dame?
Probably not. I won't talk to you. I don't know what to expect. Notre Dame, man. I don't know. We'll see.
We will see.
Clemson sucks this year.
Yeah, they do.
Their kicker's so bad. The story of their kicker. So their kicker for the first 2 games, pretty much benched him, and then he's the reason we lost the first game. I think he missed like 3 field goals, and we would have won that game. And then they pulled some guy. Sam was telling me, I didn't know this. Some guy was a graduate there. He was like about to go to the military, right? Or
he went to the military.
He was in the military.
Yeah, so he still had a lot of.
Yeah, he had a year of eligibility.
So
or something.
Brought him on to kick.
Dabo called him up. He said, "Hey, we need you to kick." And he had a job he was going to move for. And he goes, "Hey, I'll move there after the season." And he stayed. So he's staying for the season to kick. Yeah. Nice. And he's not that good either. Oh. I think he's like 2 for 6.
Oh, all right. Well,
I texted him, and it was right before halftime, and I think they were up by a little bit, and they kick a field goal. It's like a 40-yard field goal, and he misses it. I text my dad, and I'm like, they better be looking for a kicker. He goes, "It's so frustrating to lose games, but just because of field goals."
Yeah.
That's how I'm going to do an open tryout for the NFL kicking.
Are you?
Yep.
When is that?
Just because I told the kids I would.
Because
like I used to kick, and whenever we do it for middle school, like I'll kick off and like, oh my gosh, I got like a 50-yarder field goal, and they're like, you should do it. I was like, I will, and now they're holding me to it. And I'm like,
nice. There we go.
No.
We'll go to that. We need to film that.
Yep.
What do they do like open?
I found a website where it's basically a dude who like he'll help you.
Scout?
You go and you kick for him, and he's like, hey man, just forget about it, or film you and do whatever.
Okay.
But even that would be fun.
That would be fun.
Yeah. And having said that, we'll have to pivot because I have to. This is my first opportunity to own the fact that I backed out of the Ironman.
You did back out of the Ironman.
Yeah.
Probably best. It's probably
best that you did.
It was
for your health and your
dignity.
It was a wise decision. Yeah.
Yeah. Jake Mills crushed it.
Yeah.
Mills crushed it.
And then Jake was doing well until it crushed him on the run. And he literally got the runs.
Were you watching in the?
I was.
Yeah.
I'm like, dang, Jake's like, I knew Mills would do really well. Like Mills is an athlete, and he's built for that.
Oh yeah.
And then Jake,
and he invested. He bought a tri-bike.
Yeah, like he went all in, and then Jake, the run. I'm like watching. I'm like, he's doing pretty good,
Yes,
solid. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, what? Because we were coming home from that Lemons race.
Yep.
And so
everybody was in the Mayhem mountain bike thread, and they were like, "Congrats, Mills," blah blah blah. And then Watkins was like,
Good
"Jake
job,
crushed
Jake."
it too."
He wasn't done
and
yet.
I was like, I flipped over to the other app, and I was like,
"Nah, Jake's not there yet." So.
And you can relate to that, I guess, because like where you said your stomach was killing you on the bike race,
man.
That's
the hardest part about any of those long races is
you're not eating real food. And
Adam Klink told me before, he's like, "Hey, long endurance races are eating competitions as well. And man, my guts just did not.
You almost have to like, I would say even put it in your prep, like even days you're not going to train.
Yeah.
Like if it's a Sunday, you're like, man, I'm just going to eat sugar. Yeah, I'm just going to eat candy just to like train your body a little bit.
It was like, it was healthy carbs.
Yeah.
And you're just like, man, that stuff sucks.
Yeah.
Next year I'm going back to like, and I booted a little bit right before because everybody's like, oh, you got to do this, you got to do that. Where I should have just stuck to the gels that I was using and Uncrustables because that's what I trained with and it was completely fine.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know if like for me the altitude was a big difference because I even like on training rides my guts just felt like, you know, there's a lot of pressure at 10,000 feet. Like you'll grab a bag of chips that have like been shipped from somewhere and it's just like completely full.
Yeah.
So
Bubble guts.
So yeah, triathlon. What else have we done? We did the Lemons race. Lemons race was a ton of fun. Man, if you're into any of that type of stuff, it is so much fun. It's awesome. And then me and Scott did a shotgun elk hunt.
I was going to say, I went to bed. It was Jake did the Ironman on a Sunday. All those guys did. And I went to bed before he was done. And the transition was because we had to wake up at 3:45 in the morning.
Yeah, to
go
to
elk
Colorado.
Oh yeah, I mean that actually
chance.
that deserves an update too. Scott was just begging you to go back to
Scott would not
Colorado.
let me live it down, and I hit him and Hod over it for a couple days, and then Saturday I was like, all right, I didn't really need any pushing. The hard part was like the kids, and they did not they were up in arms and almost revolted in the car when I said, hey, I'm leaving tomorrow morning. Like they were very angry. But yeah, we went back out there. Man, we had.
But shout out to Hillary. She was super cool.
Hillary's awesome. Right? Hillary's Hillary was the one that, I mean, obviously I couldn't have done it without her saying, okay, like everybody wants to say, oh, my wife doesn't tell me what to do, but let's be honest. But she was super supportive and you need to go. Like, just go. And so we just went.
Yeah.
So she took care of that. And man, we had some opportunities first day. Not really a ton of action after that, but the first day, man, it was one of the cooler days that we've had. You know, we hiked into this little spot and we had a guy out there that was calling for us and called, and immediately, almost as soon as we got to a spot where we could kind of like look around and had a little shooting lane, we had a cow elk walk in at about 60 yards. In hindsight, you know, on first day, you don't really think, oh, I'm going to take and I had either sex tag. So I probably, looking back, you're like, dang it, I should, you know, we get so caught up, and then I might have should have taken the shot. She did have a calf. It did not have spots on it, so it was a viable. It would have lived for sure. It still was hard for me to like, oh, I'm gonna take her, and then.
Well, that's how you get the 2-for-1. You kill the cow, and the calf stays there, and you knock another broadhead and take it out too.
Oh man! And so I sweep that under the rug, and so we're sitting there, and he's calling, and we start getting some, like, response. Cows, it sounded like everywhere, like cow calls everywhere. We were, come to find out a couple days later when we're kind of, like, stalking around, we were in the bed. Yeah. Like, their bed, on the 30 yards away, there was probably 100 beds.
See, that's what me and TJ were talking about that, because I have a problem with kind of understanding, like, where those animals bed.
Yeah.
And like TJ said, basically, the spot that you don't want to go through is where they're at.
Yeah,
so like where it's
thick,
like
nasty.
Yeah,
and but so this spot was
you don't
like,
even know.
Looked like 100 beds. Like we walked it later. So we're sitting there. We hear some calls, and then we hear some. Actually, we first heard some thrashing, right?
Well, we heard bugles up top, one or two bugles up top, and I think someone saw a bull.
Yeah.
This was right after the cow calf.
Right after the cow calf, something happened. I thought we heard some thrashing, and so Levi starts calling.
Well, we heard them walking. They were so loud.
They were so loud. I'm like, how did we never hear these before? I don't know if they just didn't get pressure there or what. But so in the process, I can see about 30 yards ahead just thrashing, and I can tell it's a legal bull. Mm-hmm. At least it had 4 tines. It might have been a 4x5. It might have been a 5x5. Might have been a 5x6. I don't really know.
4 on one side.
It didn't really have whale. It wasn't a super mature bull, but it was a good bull. And at this point, I was going to take it. Yeah. And so I can see it thrashing for probably 10 or 15 minutes. Just sitting there watching it thrash. Every time he'd call, it would thrash, and he would thrash. It would thrash back and forth. So at one point, it puts its head down, and then I see a shadow walking towards us. I mean, perfect, right where the shooting lane is, everything. So I draw because I don't want to draw attention to it when it steps in the open. And right about that time that it walks, it's not that bull. It's a spike. And so Sam's with us, Potter, who we're hunting with, and he's like, it's a spike, don't shoot. And I'm like, I can see, you know, I'm not going to shoot it. It stands at 7 yards for, did we time it?
Well, I had a clip that was 4.5 minutes. I had a clip that was a minute, and then like a 20-second one. And you were drawing the whole time.
At least 5 or 6 minutes, I'm just standing at full draw. And so by the end of it, I'm kind of getting a little wobbly. Well, so he puts his head down to like feed down. So I kind of sit here and I bring the bowstring across my chest so I can at least rest kind of, but I'm still kind of doing this.
It's not easy.
And then he walks down. So then I let it all come back to neutral, I guess. And this bull just will not come. And so I'm just standing there waiting. And then all of a sudden, Levi's calling from behind us, and he comes out and does this. So there's a 6x6 that comes up the drainage. I don't know if these two idiots winded him, or there was a mule deer that comes out where that cow was, and that spooked them because they're on high alert or whatever it was. They did not wind us. Our wind was in our face. It was coming down at that point. And they bolt. Well, this 6x6, I never saw his antlers. I could just see kind of the outline of his body. He stands right behind 2 evergreen trees. If he steps 2 yards closer.
How far away is he from you?
About 40 yards.
Oh, okay.
And I cannot. I could shoot through the evergreen trees, but I'm not taking that shot.
Yeah, it could deflect it. I mean,
So now I'm like, I should have just taken the shot, but hindsight's 20/20. And then the next couple days, so then we see that that 4x is definitely a satellite bull. So he busts out and he starts pushing cows, and we can see him up on this ridge line pushing cows up and out of the little valley we're in. And then nothing else that night, right? We saw a bunch of cows.
Let me be rookie. Let me be Ben Davidson for a second.
Yep.
So in that scenario, when he's sitting there, he's behind the trees, like not sure what's going to happen, like, and it's been however long. Is there any logic in trying to like advance on him? Like, of course, you're probably going to spook him.
I didn't have any cover, and then the hope was that he was going to, because he starts walking out to our left, and I'm thinking maybe he's going to come back up and have a line, because the idea is you put somebody back here, so they're concentrated back here and not on you and on the shooter.
Yeah.
And so the idea is to pull them past you. And so, I mean, this situation looked like that's what was about to happen. With this bull, he was either going to come across, that spike comes perfect, of course, stupid spikes. And then this 6x was thinking he was going to go up here and then this way, but he ended up going up to the cows, I guess. We never saw him again.
I'm thinking
we did try to advance on him,
and
try to push, but we didn't.
I'm thinking like last man standing in paintball, you know, I'm just going to run at him.
Right. Full draw. Well, that's the hardest part is like with archery, with a rifle, probably have a couple dead this year.
Yeah.
But in archery, you're
so
like
close.
Well, they're so close. I've got single pin. I'm adjusting, so you have to know almost their exact range. If not, like I've got an idea of if I've got 30 set, and they're at 20, I'm going to aim low. At 40, I'm going to aim high. And so I kind of have an idea. But when it's in those situations, like I was set at 20 because that one walks at 7 yards. And so I know I've got to aim low, and we're probably going to be fine. But it's so frustrating.
Yeah.
And he was calling that whole time too.
Yeah.
So it's not, and you had a shooting lane there and you had no cover. So it was a bad situation to try to move.
Yeah, it was an optimal situation. If they come into us, it's a bad situation if I'm trying to move on them.
What are these bugs? It's not a fly.
It's a gnat, I believe.
Gnat, somebody leave some fruit back in there?
Yeah. I don't think they empty the trash often enough.
We're going to have like a...
whoever is back here all the time.
Whatever that presidential debate was where you had the fly on the hair.
Oh, yeah.
Small pivot for deer. I told you guys I'm taking Gus at the end of October.
Yep.
A buddy in Texas had
Where
really...
you going?
Gosh, I'm embarrassed that I don't know, but
What
they set up the
state?
turkey competition. It's in Tennessee.
Oh, okay.
Set up the turkey competition and
Turkey?
the turkey. They're really good. They're like a turkey, but a little bit smaller.
It's like a tarpon turkey. It's kind of a mix.
That's right. Yeah, it's like a turducken.
Fish.
It's actually, once you kill it, it's got a dove inside of it. A buddy in Texas had this, like, his father made him progress. Like, actually wouldn't let him shoot a buck until he shot a doe.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm just interested to see what you guys think about that. Like, he said basically,
if
if you go, and this place is like flush, the cam footage.
Is it a high fence or?
I don't actually know if it's got fences, but it's
farm,
definitely
maybe,
got a
where
lot of
they-
animals on it. We saw the footage. And
See,
anyways, you give Gus
yeah.
a massive buck on his first one, and like, does that set him up for?
No,
if
I
you're
don't
at a
think so. I've
place
thought
like
about
that,
this.
give them a buck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've
If
thought
you're,
about this a lot, actually. That I think there's, like, because around here, and I'm sure it's everywhere, like, there's one thing, like Gus isn't a little kid.
Yeah.
Like for a little kid, maybe it's okay to let them shoot like a spike or a doe or something, and just to be able to kind of open the door for them to go hunting. But I think there's a lot more to it than that. Like I don't have kids, so I can't really speak on this, but maybe if Trice wants to go deer hunting, like maybe this is something you might be able to think about more, is like I would think that there's more to it, as in like you're gonna take your kid out and you're gonna plant the food plot. Like you're gonna do this work all year. You're gonna plant the food plot. Like he has this land here, so like he could take Trice out and they can plant a food plot. Like you want to go hunting,
the work, yeah.
And then you can put the camera up and like you can watch a certain deer all year. Like you can see them from the springtime and see like them grow, and you see the antlers. You're like, dude, that one looks cool. I want to shoot that one.
I like that.
I think there's more. There's like a patience aspect, a work aspect, and I just think there's more to it. It's harder to hunt a big buck. They're a big buck for a reason. They made it to that they made it to 3 or 4 or 5 years old because they've evaded hunters, or they only choose to feed at night because they know during the day like they could be hunted. So if you just shoot a spike, sure, it's cool, you get a deer, but those spikes, you could do that anytime. Like I could have shot a spike already. I've only went twice this season, or a doe. I could have shot a doe too. So I think
you didn't read that article,
huh? No, we can talk about that too. But like, there's more. I think it teaches some restraint, some patience.
Yeah, delayed gratification. And
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then the other kind of side of it is what if you don't see that big buck all season? You hunt all season, you don't kill. Like there's also the fact that you could do everything right and still not get the reward you deserve.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily deserve it. You could not get anything. Like so I don't know. I mean, it'd be different for a little kid, but like someone like Gus's age, I would think it'd be like, because he can wrap his head around this whole thing to where like you're gonna wait for a good deer and kill a big deer, and I don't think it ruins it. Like I
like that.
Like I haven't shot any massive deer. I won't say I've shot any massive deer, but I have shot 2 good deer for sure, and I would still be pumped about shooting just an 8-point deer, just something like 8 points. That'd be like, it depends on what time of the season, but if it has 8 points and it's got a decent rack on it, like I'm shooting that. Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Like I'm still posting on Instagram, and like I'm fired up, and
You're not posting a doe?
I might post a doe.
Story material.
Yeah, I might post a doe. It just depends. Like I don't think that everyone's hunting their goals and their journey is so different. But like I said, the patience part of it, like there's patience in hunting anyways, but you could sit there all day and you could see 20 different deer and not see the one deer you want to see. And like, hey man, that's how it is. Sometimes you got to wait several days to see it.
Speaking of that, and this is completely sidebar, but Stephen Ranella, Meat Eater, his brother's a big posting your animal, like hunt quietly or something like that. Him and Cam got in a big argument about it, right?
I think him and his brother are a little estranged because of this, because he doesn't like that he doesn't like that his brother's like
promoting hunting, which
he doesn't really like that he's
glorifying
in the public doing it kind of thing. Yeah. Just I haven't looked into that much, but it's weird.
I love the conversation because I really like to hunt and I enjoy it and I get everything about it.
You don't like the social backlash that you get when we're hunting?
I don't even think it's that. I'm just sort of like,
you don't like the cancel culture behind hunting? It
feels strange to me. It just feels strange to me. Like, because especially if you're a trophy hunter or something, which I'm not into, okay.
I am.
Well, you're into trophies that you're going to eat. What I mean by that is like, you're going to go.
True.
You would go kill like a lion or something. Like,
no.
You know what I'm saying? Like an animal that doesn't an animal that's just sort of like, I'm getting this so that I can stuff it and put it in my room. Like, I wouldn't want to kill a giraffe.
No, I wouldn't.
Elephant,
I wouldn't just kill something, cut the head off and put it on my wall. Like, I would want to eat it or maybe have a reason behind it. Like, what if there's a lion in Florida and there's a bunch of lions in Florida and
okay, hold on, we're getting into the weeds now.
I know. But I'm saying,
what if Spider-Man was loose in New York City? Okay, but what I'm saying is like, you kill things for the meat, and I get that and whatnot. But to me, like it's literally like if I've got pictures of deer, like when we went to Alaska and things like that. But it just, for me, whatever reason, I'm not like. I don't think it's disrespectful to the animal necessarily or whatever, but even the way that Cam talks about like the spiritual aspect of like respecting the animal, I get it. And then I see it on Instagram and I'm like, but I don't know, it's kind of weird.
Yeah. I see that side of it, I guess, but also if you're trying to promote hunting, promote, you know, like what it actually is.
Yeah, how it ends
know,
up.
Yeah, I mean, and some people might not have or see or even think about that until they see that.
Sure.
And, you know, for me, the picture or whatever is a memory. You know,
Yeah.
I guess in social media, a lot of people want to just know what you're doing.
Yeah,
and
it's
so
more.
that is part of it.
The picture's more for me, but I post out there because I do know, and I actually made this comment on Luke had a post of a deer that he shot, and someone commented and said, no one needs to see this, or why are you sharing this with people? And then I commented it back to him, and I
want to see it.
Yeah, I was an asshole for sure, but I commented and I said, well, maybe he's sharing it for people like me, his friends who aren't with him on that hunt and want to see the deer that he killed, you know, or maybe people that he doesn't have contact with, like, you know, me and Luke could send pictures back and forth, but like somebody who really likes Luke and just follows him on Instagram can see, oh man, that's cool. Like I'm a deer hunter and Luke killed a good deer. Like,
like I said, I see both sides, and I'll speak out of both sides of my mouth to say, like on the YouTube thing. Like I've watched
to see the whole story
or to learn how to butcher an animal.
Yeah.
Like there's some fantastic educational content, right?
Absolutely.
But I would love to hear the Ranella brothers go at it.
I know,
I mean,
if he
can
can
debate,
if he speaks as well as Steven, like I would love to hear those two like debate that topic.
Yeah, I you know, and even the mount that I have of that elk that we killed last year, like every time I see that, there's some memory that comes back to it. It's like, oh, I remember that, or I think about that, or like the journey, or just the friends that I've met along the way. Like some of my closest friends now are because of that hunt, or even the hunts that led to that hunt, or got me into that hunt. You know, like Stephen Gadberry or Curtis or any of those guys are now, and Evan and Star Dodds. Like I keep thinking back, like some of the people I talk to the most because of that hunt.
Yeah, exactly.
Me and Scott now have an obsession together that we can share with each other because of those hunts.
Spend miles together. Sorry, quick thing.
Yeah, go ahead. And then I was going to say, I'm going to read a couple comments, and then maybe we pivot because I'll end on one comment.
The thing that I actually told Luke, he got one of his deer mounts back, like on the back of the deer mount, I'm going to start writing either at least the year and where I shot it. So like when you're older and you're telling the story, you're like, well, this deer, because you know, like you'll see some deer mounts that are 50 or 60 years old. They're just so old, and you can see like they're drying out. Like you can tell it's an old mount. And it'd be cool to be like, you know, if your grandkid asks you, hey, what about this one? Like you can say, oh, this deer, I shot this deer in Georgia in 2022 or 2023. So and
Billings has four deer that are from his grandfather and his dad.
Yeah.
That were killed on this mountain.
Yeah, that's
think
cool.
about, which is
that's really
pretty
cool.
crazy to think about, you know. And so like, and Matt, like he has a whole room at their house that is like a bunch of old pictures from his dad hunting and his hunting buddies, and like just different like old like duck decoys like made out of wood, just some like cool like history type stuff that you know, like to this mountain is pretty cool. I mean, Matt's like I think 6th generation lived on this mountain, which is insane to think about. Yeah, like I don't even think I'm 6th generation American. Right. And so, like,
I'm not. I'm
definitely not.
And so it's pretty cool to see those things. And
Brian King's got a pretty cool with his turkey stuff. You know, he's into like the World Cup and stuff like, and he's got all of his shells with the date and the state and whatever. All right, let me read some of these comments. Most of them are like, hey, we love hearing Rich tell stories about hunting. Lots of great perspectives.
Somebody was upset that they were afraid this podcast was going to be all hunting.
That's what I was going to end on. I was going to say, they said, Irish Pat 82 said, I love Rich and the hunting is interesting. Is this podcast going to be mostly hunting now?
And so it's just that
podcast
season
is what we're doing.
Yeah, it's that season for us.
So there, but would you guys be interested in making a pivot to fitness and talking about like, I wouldn't call them contentious topics, but topics that, you know.
No fitness allowed here.
Yeah, what do you mean contentious? What do you want?
Do we want to talk about our newsletter?
Oh, our newsletter.
Our newsletter. We published a newsletter, and the clickbait title was "CrossFit is over."
Yeah, that's all it was. It was clickbait, and it was a miscommunication. It was not ran through the proper filters, and so that was handled.
Yeah,
CrossFit is not over.
And it was an interesting, you know, and I think the idea and the concept was trying to say like, hey, the community is still great, but it was
community is what drives CrossFit, and we all know that. Yeah. And that was supposed to be the heart of the newsletter, but it was not broadcast that way. And
every one of us cringes at clickbait. Yeah, I really do.
Yeah, I hate clickbait.
Which is funny, actually. Somebody called the last title to the podcast.
That
clickbait.
was clickbait.
What was it? What was the title?
It said, "I failed you all."
Yeah, but we didn't like specify. You know, like,
I let you all down.
That's pretty good though.
I like to call it accurate clickbait.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna make a title about what it is, but try to intrigue the person.
Yeah, and it also wasn't like once you tuned in, we were like, bye, blah, blah, blah. It was like, it was still a great
trying to
podcast
get you to listen to a hunting podcast because people won't normally listen to those.
Yeah, if we said Rich went to Colorado and did not kill an elk.
That
Here are the stories about the trip.
I wouldn't click on that.
But I failed you all.
So
it could have been I failed myself.
CrossFit not over, but definitely probably having some issues. But the news we haven't talked about yet, I guess, would be the move to Fort Worth. So what do you think?
I don't want to pass judgment at the moment because I want to see the venue and all that stuff. I love Texas. I don't love Texas in July or August. I do not like the fact that we cannot pick a weekend as well.
Oh, I know that. Oh, gosh.
We've competed anywhere from my birthday, July 21st, to second weekend in August. Like
October.
But that's
2020.
That's open.
2008, it was on 4th of July weekend.
Oh, was it? Yeah.
That's
COVID. We throw that year out. I just, like, hey, third weekend of July is always, and I get that we're trying to get venues and stuff like that. But, like, most events out there are always, like, I'm sure the Super Bowl is the first weekend in February or whatever it is. Like, pick whatever the dates are, and it falls on that. For one, Leadville next year, the bike race is always the second weekend in August, I think, and so it's on the same freaking weekend. And so just pick a date.
Whoa.
Pick a date.
Sorry. Now you're freaking me out that
like
I,
the 11th
I scheduled my Airbnb at the wrong weekend.
I think it's like I think it's the 11th and 12th of August.
No, I think I did it right.
I just don't love it. People are going to be like,
right.
It's the fittest on earth, the test for fittest on earth. Like, they should be able to handle the heat.
That type of stuff.
No,
like when it's 100-something degrees, like there's difference.
I've heard a lot of people say this. It's not the battle of attrition. It's not who can last the longest.
My takeaway is I'm in full agreement with you, but I think that it's even been openly said that the events will all be inside,
which is almost all.
But it's equally disappointing to me.
Yeah, because the outside, the atmosphere, and it's going to be a cool atmosphere. It's going to be a cool event. I'm not trashing. I don't want to get the oh, this sucks. Why did they do that? Ultimately, I'm okay with it because it's going to be a cool test. It's a cool venue from what I've heard. Yeah. I just miss, perfect world. Man, California was cool. And people complained about how hot it was there.
It was only hot one year, maybe.
And there's no humidity.
Yeah.
I know the saying is oversaid, but it's not the heat. It's
the humidity that gets you.
And it's going to be miserable.
And I guess so. Here's in defense of CrossFit.
Yeah,
what you could say is, while CrossFit's not over, CrossFit is struggling based on the last couple of years. And
right, well, they're just trying to find their footing and get some momentum going.
Sure,
in the correct.
And so you have to shop on price on some things.
For sure.
And even us running the Mayhem Classic here, I remember people who came in and they were just like, "Wow, this is a really affordable place to run an event and get dinner and all that." So the tangential stuff around Fort Worth is probably very beneficial for
sure.
hotel rooms.
I mean, I love Texas. Like I said, there's and it's just that time of year sucks.
Yeah,
without a doubt. I mean, dude, I was just there, and it was
be miserable.
high 9. That UT game until you were in the shade. I was on the west side of the stadium, and so for the whole first half, you were baking, and then the shade finally, the sun went down below the stadium, and I was like, oh my god, this is insane. And I wasn't playing football; I was watching it.
I can't. So that's just the hard part for me.
I know. Everyone had a conversation about this when they moved to Madison. We're like, oh, we're moving out of the tennis stadium. Like that's gonna suck, and it didn't. It was great. I thought Madison was really cool. It wasn't quite as cool.
I don't think.
But it was still. It was different. It
for
sure was different. Not quite as cool, but it was still cool. Like we got to Madison, and then after the first year, I was like, hey, this is pretty cool. Like this place is pretty nice.
I like Madison, yeah.
And then with the move to Texas, I think it's still going to be good. I do, like they said, 90% of the events are going to be inside. So, I'm thinking maybe a swim or, a run swim. 1 or 2 events are going to be outside, and then that's really all you're going to get. And then the rest is going to be inside. I'm sure it's going to be cool, but I just think it's going to for sure feel different at the least.
Yeah, and no judgment either way. Where do you guys fall on the fact that although there have been no official announcements, there clearly will not be masters and teenagers on site?
Is that they said that?
They just haven't said anything about it, which lays. I find it hard to believe.
This might be bad. People might get mad at me for this, but I think it's okay. I think let some of these other events, maybe CrossFit Games partners with Legends, partners with an up and coming event. I mean, let's be honest. They were pushed to the side this year. Maybe some of these events can bring more attention to it. But also, here's my deal: is if you want, as a Masters community, if you want it to be a real thing, then put out the money to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we hosted that Legends event, and how were the viewership on the videos?
Still very low.
Exactly. So it's like, let the games be the games and be teams and individuals, and then let some of these other events take over and see if we can push that. But it comes down to the whole, you know, NBA versus WNBA talk. Like, if you want it to be something big, then watch it.
And perhaps, like, maybe it can thrive more when it's not
overshadowed. It is overshadowed. I mean,
they call it a sideshow, but at the end of it, it was a warm up. It wasn't even a sideshow. It was a warm up, and the lion's share is focused on like what ESPN wants to purchase in order to put on.
I hate that, but it is what it is. You know?
Well, you got to think of the fact that usually they're during the week, and then teams and individuals are during the weekend.
It's hard for people to take off a full week.
People can't get off of work. You know, you have people, and even if you can get off of work, you're talking about getting a hotel for those 4 or 5 extra days. But if you change the weekend, I feel like it opens the door for people who maybe do want to watch both and can maybe pivot their vacation time or just their time off work.
They tried it
a little differently.
Them Masters and age groups
during the
weekend,
and they for sure get overshadowed.
It's just hard.
I think one of the years I competed, it was like that. I hated it.
Yeah,
because I always liked finishing, and then I could watch the individuals all weekend. Like it was fun for me because that was like then I was on vacation.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the other people think, but that's what I like that. I've done both, and I really like competing during the week. I don't care if anyone was. Personally, I didn't really care if anyone was there. I was competing, and that's what I cared about. And then I wanted to watch individuals. Like I understood that the individuals and the teams is kind of where the focus is, and I wanted to go watch them.
Scott's squirming over there.
I was just gonna say we hosted the Legends Championship last year, and the athletes' feedback across the board whenever I filmed interviews or whatever is they thought it was super cool that there was an event that was just them. They're the only thing. So I think trying to get one of those events to grow is probably the best
I think
option.
They should just make Masters 2-person teams anyway.
I have no idea what's in this.
That would be cooler.
Sorry.
Are you on the drug testing protocol?
This was...
Smells bad or tastes bad? Or both?
It's not what I had in it. I think I have Sam's.
Man,
Sorry.
It's okay. We'll pivot right off that. In my morning coffee, I always put like the Bubs MCT oil powder and collagen protein. But I had a bunch of Mountain Ops their hydration product. And so I had a coffee the first morning I was in Texas, and we'd had a late night, and so I was up early. And I drank it, and I was like, it was super sweet, weird, tingy, and I was like, is this an Austin thing? Like, it almost tasted like tea. And it took me like half the day. I was like, well, the Bub supplements are they're
gone
bad. Yeah. and then it took me half the day, and then I realized, oh, okay, I put like berry hydration in my morning coffee.
Bugleberry?
Yeah, and I only made it halfway through, but I did make it halfway through, so I'm a disgusting individual.
Oh, well, it happens. I don't hate Dallas. There's things I don't like about, like I said, time of year. I'm cool with it. I would love to hear I guess I should probably watch some of Dave's videos, but I don't.
Yeah.
Him talking about it.
Have you Googled the venue at all?
It looks awesome.
It looks amazing.
Arena looks awesome. I mean, it looks incredible. And then also, I guess my answer to not having age group and stuff there is I'm okay with it. You know, I think as long as CrossFit's going to somehow either partner with,
I think that's
what I've heard.
I think that's the plan. When I went to the Pit Teens Throwdown, I know Adrian was there and was thinking about possibly making that the CrossFit Games for the teenagers. I don't know where that, I don't know how that went. But I think that's kind of the idea. Like Legends would be the CrossFit Games, and CrossFit's going to partner with them, and then Pit Teens would be the CrossFit Games. And I don't know. I don't know if those are the two that they're going to choose, but I think that is the plan.
I think that'd be cool too to have those at different times of the year.
Yeah.
That way they could kind of keep the season.
And also just because somebody, Kelsey Morris from Mayhem Athletes sent me this, the Mayhem Masters Fitness Collective also has a big deal. We have like these are names. These are names of our 40+ athletes.
Yeah, it's a big
weekend.
Bunch of people. That's what I think J-Web did last year. So
that must be at least 30 people that are going. So good luck to all you. I can't read all your names, but I'll read the first one and the last one. Brandon Fontenot and Stacy Rolfe, and all the rest of you. Good luck. Those are Mayhem Athlete Masters who are competing this weekend.
Was it this past weekend?
Sorry, this past weekend.
Yeah.
Yep, you're right.
I saw Grubb's
What year
post.
is it?
What year is it? But yeah, and then the only other thing that I was contemplating also was like, okay, so if you can, I'm not going to compare it to any other sports because I don't like the other sports, but if you can make it a self-contained one stadium sport or event, then it does have the opportunity to bounce to different facilities that could make that work.
Right. Versus a multi.
Yeah,
if you always have to have this,
track and a field and an indoor, it does make it hard for sure.
2 or 3 indoor things, yeah.
And more than anything, though, I am so bummed that this comes after the first year of the Mayhem Athlete Campground.
Yeah,
that was such a cool.
It was
vibe.
a cool thing, and I don't think camping in the
hell no. You could not pay me enough.
No.
Yeah, all the air conditioning in the world is like, for
in,
temporary structures, like
inside?
they
just put people in tents and have a campground inside.
Sounds great. It'd be like Santa Cruz, California.
Yeah.
Camp anywhere you like. Yeah. Go ahead, take a drink, take a soda. Okay, cool. You mentioned Castro's show. He does weekly shows. What does he call them?
Weekend reviews.
Weekend review. This he promoted, and then he texted me also.
About the Mayhem versus Proven versus HWPO thing. Yeah, he texted me about it.
What's that about? I didn't hear anything about this.
He wants to do something similar to what we did with Again Faster Rogue Throwdown.
Oh, okay.
Which would be cool.
Yeah.
We've thrown the idea around a lot, right? I was on Fluffy Duck. I was on his podcast recently, and we were kind of rehashing old memories. So shout out to Josh, a.k.a. Fluffy Duck, because he felt like Castro stole his idea. But I think the idea's been around for a long time.
Yeah, we've talked about it for years.
And it would be awesome, but I just feel like logistically – and here's when people talk about like, well, the health of CrossFit, I think there's so many competing interests, so even like a group like that where once upon a time, the Filthy 150, the Irish folks were trying to pull together something with like, yeah, bring all the camps and they'll compete. And I'm like, dude, they've got their sponsors. We've got our sponsors. You've got the athletes. How are the athletes getting compensated? What does winning actually mean? Like, how do you,
what's the risk reward,
what's the risk reward? So I think that logistically it would be really hard to pull together, but damn, it would be cool.
It would be cool. Yeah, I mean, we've talked about doing something like here, similar to Broken Skull at the house here, like some fitness challenges and stuff like that. But we just never have pulled it together.
Hackenbrook out here, he'll win it.
Yeah,
wasn't he like he had the winning
they had
time
to like
for
I
a
think
long
they had
time.
I think they had to change the rules
because no one could beat him.
Nobody could beat him. Like, you always got to the end.
They had to change it to where
he was like the last boss, and you had to beat him on the obstacle course, and he was untouchable.
That's because he knew how to rope climb. That was a lot of it.
That was a big thing.
It was like a 20-foot rope. It's like weightlifting or wrestling when they change a weight class every few years because like they have to change weight class so somebody else can get a world record, because they can't beat this one guy. He ages out, and then now there's a new weight class.
One very particular thing that we can mention or not, just keep people in suspense is that
Sounds like you're going to mention it.
Well, I'm going to ask you if you want to. There's something missing from that.
2024 CrossFit Games? What's missing?
I mean, as an announcer, I've had to say, I've been very specific how I have to say that sentence.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. I mean, it still says it up in the upper left.
Yeah.
Well, that's 2023.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Oh.
So that's the official logo.
Well, it looks like you just said it, so I don't know.
You said it. I highlighted it.
You highlighted it, and then I asked what was different, and you said something is missing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know.
Then he said it out loud. That's a big deal.
That is a big deal.
Not, forget about the implications to Noble, but prize purses and running this event is extremely expensive, obviously. So I don't know if that's an open door or if someone else is already filling that space, but that'll be critical for the future of the sport and what this looks like. You know?
Do you think, I don't know if you guys know, I don't know if you can even say, is there anyone that they even have like in mind? Like, is there anyone that we think would take that?
I heard Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift were actually going to. It was going to be. It's going to be the 2024 Kansas City Chiefs. Jason Kelce, Taylor Swifty CrossFit Games.
Jason Kelce?
Oh, sorry, Travis. No, I don't. I don't. But and I hope, like, because I say this really and truly. Last year, I felt like I felt great about the CrossFit Games. It felt like it was my favorite year in a long time. It felt
felt right. Felt good. Workouts were good. Everything was good.
Besides you not competing, it was like it felt like it had the momentum from years past, and that's from a guy who didn't barely go into the Coliseum. Like I spent most of my time in the campground, but from the community side, from the activation side, people on site, they seemed real. The vibe was good. But no, I don't know. Let's start the speculation and comments. Who do you want it to be? You know?
Who's the sponsor?
Mayhem Athlete.
Start
King Midas
start cobbling some shoes, Dre.
Use code Froning.
Huh?
Use code Froning. 7-day free trial.
Yeah. Froning Farms. The 2024 Froning Farms CrossFit
Yeah, the
Games.
Froning Farms.
You heard it here first.
I was telling him about this, and you'll like this too. You know Jordan Peterson?
Yeah.
Not
personally.
I mean,
but
yeah,
big fan.
not personally. Yeah. But anyways, he is doing like this. I did this thing on the Daily Wire, and he actually has it on his YouTube as well. It's for like lack of a better term, it's like a book club with some of the other like guys that he knows that are like theologists and really smart guys when it comes to the Bible. Like they've studied the Bible. And it's about Exodus. I think he did like a 10-part series on Genesis, and now he's doing on Exodus. Dude, it is like, well, first off, 75% of it just goes right over my head. And then like the little tidbits that I catch are like things that I never would have even thought of.
Yeah.
Like there's one guy on there who's just I think he's some kind of professor. All these guys have doctorates, every single one of them. And
We're a bunch of nerds.
They are just nerds, dude. But they pretty much they all studied Exodus, and I mean I'm sure they've been doing it all their life. And then they sit down and they all talk about it. And one of the guys who's Jewish is obviously maybe read it more just because he doesn't have as much to read. There's less to read. What?
It's true. It is
so he may have read it more, but like the parts I can't even remember all of it. But the one part that like was already just like completely blew my mind is when he's talking about, it's in the first chapter, he's talking about so Jordan reads it, and then whenever someone has a note or something, they cut him off basically and they talk about it. And so in the first chapter, it almost starts off immediately and says that how Pharaoh told the midwives to kill all of the male-born Hebrews. And the guy responds and he goes, there's no evidence to show whether those midwives are Hebrews or Egyptians. There's no evidence. So like it's all what you think. Like, and he said I've studied it a lot. Like I've tried to figure it out because it'd be cool one way or it'd be cool the other. Like one, because they say we don't listen to Pharaoh, we fear God. And maybe it's Egyptians or maybe it's Hebrews, and it like changes the story whether it's one or the other.
Oh, interesting.
I didn't think about it that
and
way.
there's no way to tell.
I'm glad you brought it up. I'm gonna tune into that because I've made it further. Like I'm going cover to cover, and I made it further
really?
than
too.
where are you at?
Jeremiah.
Oh, jeez, dude.
Jeremiah.
I'm still numbers. Like,
I'm
way early days. Just struggling. But,
I started the beginning of the year. Go ahead.
So did I. And then stopped a few times. But do you listen to it?
I follow along. Yes.
Oh, see, I'm like making sure that
Are you doing
like turning the pages, turning the pages of the Bible?
Okay.
Oh, I did that for a while, and I'm a really slow reader. It was like cutting into my sleep because I'm so slow.
Yeah.
So I had to I have it read to me. Yeah.
Big one.
Just
Yeah.
Jesus.
But anyways, having that kind of context is always super helpful
Yeah.
because I try to get like the Bible that has all the footnotes and like
There's
this
it's
word and
too
this
much
word.
context.
So
So
too much.
We've been going, there's an app called Through the Word, and it would definitely make it way longer for you. But there's like usually like a 6 to 10 minute kind of commentary before, and then it reads the verse or you read the verse.
I am so about just the way that I learn and the way that I see things. Like I'm so visual that the Bible Project I think is the best thing that's ever happened to Christianity
with the, like,
for
drawings and
they're animations,
Yeah,
and it's like
yeah.
I mean, as they're speaking, like it animates the entire like,
cool.
and so it gives you context, and so you're coming up on Genesis, and it'll be like here's one, and then
this is what the whole book is about, and it's broken into 3, whatever.
exactly it
For
zooms
me,
out to give you the full context, and then
I
zooms
just start
back in.
watching the drawings and I don't listen to anything.
Yeah,
I
you're,
can't.
like,
My
zoning
brain.
out.
That's like
Too much
even on
going on.
Bible apps. Sometimes they'll put music in the background
Yeah, I
while
don't
they're
like the music.
reading. I can't. We were talking about it. We were driving home,
Like getting hypnotized.
listening to the Lions pregame when they were playing the Packers this weekend, and every time they would go break down film, he would be talking, and then they'd put some type of music in the background, and my brain can't
do both.
two things at once, unless
Music
I really
was
want
too
to.
loud.
Yeah.
It was too loud.
Yeah, it was just not good. It was not a good
The
balance.
mix was off,
Yeah, the
as
mix
they
was,
say in the media talk.
mix was way off.
Mm-hmm.
Smoking Newports.
Yeah, that's Steve Smith, Jr., I think. Drop that on
No,
there.
Steve Smith Sr.
Senior. It was senior. You're right. He was one of the sideline reporters.
Yeah.
And somehow the story comes up about Clay Matthews, right? And
It was some guy that looked like Clay Matthews.
No, I thought it was Clay Matthews in the car, and the guy was wearing a Clay Matthews jersey.
Yeah, that's right.
And he walks up. He's like, "Hey, man, you got a light?" And he's like, "No." And he walks off. He's like, "Well, you're no use to me. It's Clay Matthews." And the guy's wearing a Clay Matthews jersey. Awesome. And his friends are like, "Do you know who you just asked for a light?" And they're like, "No." He's like, "Clay Matthews." And he's like, whatever. And he's no use to me, and walks off. And they're just like, "You idiot." And
yes.
The joke was kind of funny, but it did not fit well in the commentary on the sideline. It was just really weird.
He was determined to get it in there.
And then Steve Smith's just like, yeah, he's probably smoking Newports. And it's like, everybody starts laughing.
He saved the whole thing.
It was it was weird. It was a really weird whole vibe, but it was good.
Love that. I'm guessing that Clay Matthews guy was like the gentleman who just like squatted on a seat next to us. He came in super hot, just screaming in my buddy's ear, like loud and obnoxious. And then we all sat down, and he literally fell asleep like that. He slept the entire game.
Nice.
The rest of the game, we just had a rando sleeping next to us. Slept.
Or passed out.
Oh, yeah. Yes to both.
Yeah. Yeah, you're going hunting in a week, too?
Next weekend.
And
then two
Georgia?
weekends. Yeah, Georgia, 2 weekends. Well, I guess a weekend. Let's see. A week from Thursday. We leave a week from Thursday. And then Ohio 2 weeks after that. And then Illinois a week after that. And then
Scott are going back out west.
Are you?
With a rifle.
Oh, yeah.
Time.
You should bring just a machine gun.
I'm
and
like,
mow 'em down.
me and Curtis were talking about this. I have nothing against shooting with a rifle.
It's
like,
not.
But it's just not as satisfying.
This
I almost feel dirty.
This
like,
year,
and I don't know why. Like,
yeah.
I don't like. I've gotten so attached to like archery and like the up close and personal thing, and we may have to get up close and personal. I mean, I've been rifle hunting for elk. That's when we shot that cow, and it's more of like a meat hunt, and like every hunt is technically a meat hunt, but I don't know. It's not the same. I don't have any. I don't have any remorse for it, but I just don't know if I'm gonna feel as
satisfied.
And there's something to being out there, and
archery.
I wish I had the whole, like I wish I could pause my kids' life for the whole month of September, or somehow still have good interactions with them and be gone and go to 4 different states or 5 different states and hunt only archery. I wish I could do that.
Yeah,
dude. Well,
but practical it's not.
But easy to say for me because as an outsider. But like I think just like your eating habits, right? It's like what you accumulate over time. It doesn't matter about this 1 month. If I'm off the rails, like it doesn't matter. Like you're such a present dad.
I know, but
I feel like there's the opportunity.
But it's
to
not
work
even,
something out.
It's not even with them. Like their experience. I miss my kids. Like I don't think I could. I don't think I could do it.
Yeah.
Like I wish I could give up that whole month of September and go and just hunt 4 different states or whatever it is, 5 different states and kill a bull. And hell, I mean, if I could in a week, which we've learned is very hard.
Kill a bull, move states.
Well, you'll blink and you'll be at the place where they can come with you.
I know, and that's what I'm ready for. And I'm like, we're approaching like, hey, do we homeschool? Not that I'm worried about what they're learning in school and stuff like that. That factors into it's not a huge factor for us. I think they need to be exposed to different things and different thoughts. But it's a time thing, and it would be cool to, all right, we have this place in Colorado. The kids could come, and I hunt 2 days, and I hang out for a day, hunt 2 to see them at night or whatever, and we could homeschool, and they could learn more on these trips. And we have a bunch of people that –
Or you going on one of those stupid properties with Bill.
Yeah.
Remember when Bill was showing us that land app?
Yeah.
Oh
dude. Lands.com or land.com. Just put a little compound up there.
Yep.
But, yeah, I mean, like I said, I have no, like, moral – anti-rifle hunting, I will do it. Yeah. I just don't know.
It's a little different.
It's just
different.
different.
I didn't feel that until this year. Maybe I felt it a little last year. I don't know, maybe when it gets closer to rifle season, it would depend on how many deer I've killed with a bow and if I've killed any, I guess, or the kind of the I don't know. I don't know what it is because last year I didn't feel it at all. This year I do feel that like bow hunting is, I hate to say it this way, the superior way to hunt because it's harder, more intimate.
And I don't even think that. I think, but for me and the style of hunting I like to do,
me too.
It fits me better. And like I said, I have zero problem with anybody hunting with a rifle. I have, as long as you're doing it legally and whatever, like
I don't really care
when we
if you
talk
do it legally.
hunting. When we talk hunting, I'm talking hunting, not poaching, not abiding by all the rules and laws, and even if you disagree with them, which some of them I do disagree with, but anyway, it fits me archery hunting.
Yeah, it's a means to an end, but I feel like dude, archery is just like so nobody can make an argument that it's like so much more primal, so much more connected, so much more interactive, so much more skill based.
Yeah, and so like the point I am in my life, like I'm gonna go on some rifle hunts because that's how I'm gonna have to do it. Like I can be gone for a week, be home for 3, be gone for a week or 4 or 5 days, gone for home for 3.
Mm-hmm.
I can spread that out, I don't know. It's just weird.
The archery season just isn't long enough for you to only
but it's not long enough for that reason. And then for us, like this year, it was just not optimal of a time. Like the rut wasn't happening. To kill something in archery, in the area you're in, the rut helps immensely. Or else you got to be, on it. And which, I mean, like I said, we learned more this year, I feel like, than we ever have.
Yeah.
But we've just been frustrated more than we ever have.
Yeah. It is weird because I like you guys were really big into bow hunting. And I mean, I was too, like the last couple of years, but I started rifle hunting and I don't know. And then I just got into bow hunting and I really like both, but now I'm kind of leaning towards bow hunting but again, my opinion may change when it comes close to rifle season. I haven't killed something. I'm like, give me that freaking gun.
Yeah, give me the gun. Yeah, I can't kill anything. So
I see it over there. I can't get it to come over here. I'm gonna shoot him while he's over there.
Yeah.
That might be part of it too. You've had 5 years now hunting elk archery.
Yeah.
And killed the one bull, and then it took 4 hours to get that cow.
Yeah, and the cow's different. And I mean, we hunted a lot for that bull last year and couldn't get Matt anything. Bull.
But still, your first-hand experience.
It's not necessarily easy. It does make it a little easier though.
Yeah, it's just different. It's different style, And when we go out to Idaho, I may have a different opinion. Like I don't know what it's going to be like.
Yeah, it made you just as hard.
Maybe just as hard. So,
and hard to conceptualize, but at some point you'll no longer be able to bow hunt. So like maximizing time now, where it's like a skill that you have.
No,
no way.
Nothing against it if it's legal. I just don't want to use a crossbow.
How was Hard Right Turn? How was Big Steve at Train with Rich?
It was cool. Yeah, it was fun. It was
some people might not know about it. So
it's Hillary's uncle that passed away. He was a big part of the Mayhem community, and so we kind of honor him every year, just his memory, and then we do a kind of a scholarship for the gym, our gym, and then for Chase's gym, to where kids that wouldn't necessarily have access to CrossFit or couldn't do CrossFit, we sponsor them and get them some access. So. It was cool. Those workouts just suck. Yeah, did you do either of them?
I did the bench one by myself at work.
That squat clean one just sucks. The bench one's kind of fun. Like the squat clean one is not hard, and then it gets really hard. Yeah. And the bench one is hard in the beginning, and then it's just kind of fun.
Yeah.
So, but it's
cool. Do you know how many bench you guys got?
Scott has it. I think 170 something.
I don't know. We filmed the whole video,
so
we'll put it out.
Because I wrote my score down with Ben. We did it in 2018. That was probably the first year, I think, when Ben and I did it together. We got 136.
This was our 6th time doing it. It's been 5 years since he passed, I think.
Okay. So that make 2018 the first one?
Maybe. Math is hard.
I did by myself, and I just did 8 sets of 10 bench, 30-second bar hang. Nice. So I just kind of
I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'll keep going on the calendar here. All of October on M30 is a step-up challenge. There's going to be a push-up challenge. Now it's going to be a step-up challenge because we're supporting all sorts of stuff on Veterans Day.
Yep.
One of which will be the Step Up Foundation in Chad. Legends of the Falls, October 7th. Are you going to do it?
This weekend.
Oh, shoot. That's this weekend?
Yeah.
Are you going?
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, me and Chase, though, are just going to do it as a 2-person team and without a sandbag because we have a history of hurting people, and I just don't want that on my conscience. So me and Chase are going to be there. We're going to do the event. We're going to do it as a 2-person. It won't change the workout whatsoever for us other than we won't carry a sandbag, but we'll be doing it.
Sam and Zoe and I were going to do it together. I can say it. Molly is busy, so she wasn't going to be able to come.
You guys should just come and do it as a 2-person.
Well, I'm working, but I'm working so I can hunt. I'm working overtime this weekend so I can hunt later this month. But yeah, we were going to do, I think Zoe asked, she goes, well, maybe we could ask Haley to do it. And I go,
no
way.
I just don't want to hurt her.
I know. She. I don't think she probably has PTSD from it. I go,
she hurt her ankle. Bailey hurt her ankle.
Yeah, I go, I don't think anyone would want to do it.
Yeah, so it's just me and Chase.
It'd be fun. We looked. So I was gonna do it with Ange, and then so we're trying to find like a couple that kind of on her level, you know.
Sam and Zoe.
Exactly.
Do it.
Yeah, just have them carry the bag the whole time. Meet us at the finish line.
Seriously.
How heavy is the bag?
You could just do it on you too. I mean, that's what me and Chase are doing. You just split the reps.
Tell Josh for me. We wanted to bring the kids, like the kids. So I told you about Eco Challenge.
We're camping. Yeah.
Oh shoot, let's talk about Eco Challenge. Have you seen it?
What?
The Eco Challenge?
It's just an adventure race.
It's an adventure race, but it's like the adventure race, you know, because guys, it's huge. And so
sorry, I didn't mean to like.
What I mean by
anybody.
here's what I mean by that is like I could go to a local one, but this is like they fly to Fiji or some crazy like Chilean Patagonia.
Angie's training for that.
No, she's not. But my kids are way into watching the show.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And so they got fired up about Legends of the Falls. I was like, yeah, dude, let's go do an adventure race, and they were into it.
Let's do it with you.
Yeah, I think I might.
Yeah.
I got
taking
some.
the kids down. We're going down Thursday night. Gonna camp out, ride bikes on Friday, bringing the kids, bikes, everything.
Okay.
We'll be there. So
I got pushback from Mr. Malone, but I'll beg him.
Just tell him you're gonna go with me and Chase when we go.
Okay.
Pushback from Mr.
Get Strong Ministries mission trip to Ocotal, Nicaragua coming up. I keep asking Ben, like I really want, my kids are older, but like I really want to take them on a mission trip.
I want my kids to go. They're just not at that age. We did the SHP build.
That's right.
And they went with me to Sleep in Heavenly Peace. Pretty awesome. I think we probably talked about it on here, but who cares? I'm going to talk about it again. Revo at the gym. They basically take raw lumber. You have a bunch of stations, Henry Ford style, and by the end of it, you have some beds that are made. And
Henry Ford's a famous bed builder. Sorry,
Yeah.
assembly line, you know, that was the
I know.
so there's an assembly line where raw lumber turns into like being beds, and then people there's different chapters. There's one in Cookville, and people can apply, and they give beds to kids that are usually sleeping on the floor or on a couch or something like that. So made the kids go help put one of those together. One was really cool to have them see the perspective, you know, like of not, you know, how blessed we are, but then also to watch them use power tools. Violet was into it. Violet was all about it, which was cool. And Revo was like,
Dale, I said no power tools.
Yeah.
Toothbrush, my toothbrush.
And so it was cool to watch Violet like handle and she was all in.
Love it.
On handling a
Did they get
drill.
to do the branding?
No, we did some of the branding. The kids didn't help as much on the actual building, but we went and assembled one, and it was cool. I mean, Trice helped me drill 2 holes because he was, you know, there's other kids running around, and just having them there to see people doing and serving was cool. But them to actually go in the house and put them together, you know,
that's what it's about.
That's what it's about. So
and these countries too.
Yeah. So I would love when my kids get old enough to be like, hey, we're gonna go, you know, on a mission trip.
Absolutely. Yeah, it puts in perspective when they don't get like as much screen time as they want.
I know, right?
Oh, really? Well,
and that's why I want, you know, I think the homeschool thing would be cool. It's like, hey, let's do that.
Experiences over
experience. I mean, you're gonna learn so much. You know, as long as they're hitting their basic on, you know, that type of stuff. But
totally,
it makes sense.
And then last but not least, of course, we'll be at Rogue. 27th through 29th. Yep. You know what you're doing? What's your role?
Legends competition.
It sounds like broadcast.
Maybe it sounds like a broadcast. Sounds like you're going to do like a Manning cast type thing.
Oh, really? They want to get you on that a couple times.
Cool.
Like a laid back kind of Manning cast where you just kind of like talk shit about what's going on. I think.
Love that.
Like
I'm in for that. I don't want to like sit there and, you know.
Yeah. What's such a better
Look at this athlete do their hang cleans broken.
185 hang cleans and they're 6. They're moving on.
Going over to the box
I think
jumps.
a Manning cast would be a ton of fun. If we can actually like
let
loose on some of it.
Like, you can let loose a little bit. Like maybe guys you know, like I don't know, Lazar or Roman. You're like, well, here we go. Roman's going to spank everyone.
You know? Like, it'll be all right.
Yeah.
Who all is going? So we got Roman, we got Lazar.
Paige is going.
Yeah. I don't have a clue. I haven't even
Scott
looked at
would
it.
know because Scott is attached media wise.
Yeah, those 3. Karen Frey.
Is that announced?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
What's announced?
She was on our story.
Okay, all right.
She's in town next week.
Yeah.
Starting next week.
Hanging out. I like that. I think we can build that out later.
If it's not announced, then I just did.
Yeah. Scott blew it. We'll just bleep it out. Bleep out every time we say the name.
Yep.
That would be really good, actually.
I think I'm going to do that anyway. That'd be funny.
Yeah, it'd be funny.
Oh, yeah.
Might as well. Did you see they're going to reboot The Office? Did anybody see that? I haven't looked into it. There's no way they can do that.
No. You can't. Oh. No, it's too late.
Yeah.
Steve Carell looks really old now.
Does he?
I mean, he doesn't not really old, but
well, I'm fine if they reboot it with the same characters, but you can't reboot it with different characters.
I don't even think you maybe with the same characters, but
today's culture, people would freak out. You know,
oh yeah, you just can't you can't ruin something that was that good. You know what you could do is they could redo Friends and make it good because it's horrible. You know that? I mean you could redo because it's so bad. But
here we go. Angelo's canceled again.
I mean, it's so bad.
I watched some Friends, but
gosh, it's horrible.
I don't love it.
I mean, it is a nightmare to watch.
I didn't know you were so passionate about this.
It's a nightmare.
I'm not passionate.
Madison loves it.
Really?
Everyone loves it. It's horrible. Someone tweeted and said, I often dream about winning the lottery and spending my millions of dollars on buying the rights to Friends, editing out the laugh track so everyone can know how unfunny that show is. It's so true.
I'm with Angelo. I think it's trash.
I think it's generational. I think it's like sometimes I'll show my kids, and sorry, I'm trying to pull something together here, but I'll show my kids like even Jim Carrey's movies sometimes, like which were like the jump.
Like which one? I mean,
they'll watch like The Mask. When The Mask came out early '90s, it was hilarious.
My kids love The Mask actually.
Oh really?
Yeah.
And so, but some stuff doesn't age well. I guess what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Mike Myers comedy, like So I Married an Axe Murderer, hilarious when it came out.
Wayne's World's still great.
Wayne's World's still great, but if I show my kids, they're kind of like they're just acting goofy, and I'm like,
my kids like that.
Yeah,
my kids are. I've
goofy
indoctrinated my kids early enough. We have watched a bunch of the Adam Sandler movies. Like we kind of started with Grown Ups and whatever.
Yeah.
And so we kind of backtracked, and I would watch them before, and I'm like, all right, make sure it's okay. But like Billy Madison, we're watching, and so she has seen all the other movies where he's normal. Adam Sandler's normal and funny, and then she's watching Billy Madison. She's like, why is he acting so dumb? You know, so it's pretty good.
Billy Madison is a good one.
They're all great.
They're so
Grown Ups, the Grown Ups movies are great.
Yeah,
they're so
good.
dumb and no plot whatsoever.
No.
But we've watched them probably 100 times because you can start it at any point and it's still funny. Like we're watching the other night and just something, I forgot what it was, but just something in it was hilarious.
It's like a background noise kind of show you a video or movie. It's like a background movie where you can put it on. And if you catch a part, you're like, man, that's funny.
Yeah. So
what I'm trying to do here is contact the winner of the Rich Froning Win My Ride giveaway, which we haven't talked to him yet.
No.
We're just going to say hi, but we told him.
Oh, okay.
We told him. So actually lives in Tennessee, believe it or not. He got a kit from Mayhem. He got a specialized Evo stump jumper. He got a plunge tub, bunch of stuff from Froning Farms, bunch of stuff from Garmin. Sent him a bunch of coffee products and stuff too. You just want to try and call him on speakerphone real quick?
Sure, man.
His name's JC. Just say hi, just congratulate him.
This is going to be awkward.
It is super awkward.
Be more awkward.
He's not gonna. He's gonna be even more awkward. JC.
Hey,
this is Rich now. What's up?
Oh, hey man.
I heard you won something recently.
Tell him he's on the podcast.
You're on the podcast. It's not really live, but you're kind of gonna be.
It's gonna
live.
be.
Yeah.
I got you.
Did you get it yet?
I don't have the bike yet.
Okay. All right.
I've talked to him. So
Okay.
It's in the works.
It's in the works. All right. Did you ride before that?
I haven't. I rode
All right.
BMX bike stuff when I was younger.
Okay. All right. You'll be good then. If you've rode BMX, you're good.
It's like riding a bike.
It's like riding a bike.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Well, you have to come out and ride that thing here in Cookeville once you get it, because I heard you're in Tennessee, right?
Yeah, we're just about 3 hours over in Carroll County.
Carroll County. Is that east or west? I'm sorry. My geography's terrible. West. Okay, cool. Heck yeah, man. Well, come on up, dude. Bring that thing and we'll ride.
Awesome. I'm all for it.
Cool.
Hey, congratulations, brother. We just want to say hi.
Hey, thanks. No, I appreciate it. Looking forward to getting it.
Okay.
Yeah. Heck,
Everything else has come in, so been hitting the cold plunge. So.
there you go. Heck yeah.
Heck yeah.
That would dude of equal value in my opinion.
Yeah, heck yeah.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, I've been looking to buy one for a long time, and so
There you go.
probably just as pumped about it.
That's awesome.
Heck yeah. Well, good to meet you, man. Come out. Like I said, come out and ride. Open invitation. So we'll get your contact. Rory has it, and we'll get you out here.
Awesome. I appreciate it.
All right, brother. Have a good day.
Thanks, y'all too.
Boom. So there was an actual winner for the Win My Ride, and he walked away with that was like a dream package.
Yeah, heck yeah.
We need to do one of these with the hunt stuff once we launch that. That would be cool.
That would be cool,
Get some.
especially because the podcast is all about hunting now.
Yeah. It's all. This is now a hunting podcast. Done.
Did you guys get the email? I don't know. I didn't read it. Jake sent an email about it. Is he freaking out or
No,
what?
we have a meeting tomorrow.
I know, but I thought
Are
he sent an
you
email.
working tomorrow? Did you say?
No.
Oh, okay, good.
No, it's like
It's
know,
just a-
vision
it's
and
just-
direction.
okay.
It's just an invite.
Is he worried or what?
Jake is anti. He's gonna try
Why
to
is he
squash.
so? Why?
He's gonna squash our dream. So
It's not gonna
tomorrow, be
happen.
ready.
There's
Just
way
be
we're
ready.
way too headstrong.
I got way too
we
much
all have to
momentum.
wear our shirts and
Yeah.
like.
Or it'll just or it'll turn dirty and it'll be like Godfather and just leave like an elk head, like a bloody elk head in his
Yep.
bed while he's sleeping.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah.
Jake will buy into this.
You'll
Yeah.
need to walk in with camo. He won't even know you're there.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. We'll all hide in his
So
office.
just have your ammo ready. All the reasons why this is happening. Well, I
Oh
mean,
my
here's the
gosh.
deal: who gets to make the ultimate decision? This guy. So it's happening.
Yeah, and everyone.
You're gonna get in line,
Yeah.
or we're gonna put you in line.
That'd be great. Make him stand against the wall and just shoot arrows around him in a circle.
Yep.
Yep.
So
Are you,
Nap off his head.
you have a heart out here in a second, so
Yeah.
maybe we gotta say bye.
yeah, I got some time. I mean, it's kind of
Unless the
dead anyway.
conversation dies.
It's kind of dead. What you got, Scott?
I got
Good
to
luck.
take pictures of you in this puffy jacket before your heart out. It's 80 degrees outside.
Who's puffy? What's going on? Who are we wearing?
I'll go grab it.
It's the Froning Farms puffy jacket.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet actually. It's in partnership with Burley Bow.
Oh, and I know that I told you this already, but at that UT game, I was just spotting Burley Bow left and right.
Burley Bow, find your
Yeah,
wild.
I've noticed a lot of other.
pretty
I don't
sweet.
know if it's
Into
that
the
I.
storm on it.
I don't know if it's that I like have my
Says-
eyes open up to it, but I feel like I see
Into
people
the
wear it all the
storm
time.
here, and I think on the back.
These are their
somewhere.
shorts, and
Yeah, I got a couple pair of the shorts. I
they're
love
next level.
Froning Farms times Burley Bow on the back, so it's a pretty sweet little puffy jacket.
What does that equal?
comfortable
F
clothing.
times B, I don't know.
BFFA. Best
Dude,
friends
you're about
forever
to
and
start
always.
I
sweating.
know I'm already kind of hot. Straight from that air squat bike erg workout. So
That is sweet.
it's good. Feels
You're
good.
about to be pouring down that jacket.
Yeah. So is this all we needed to get this done? Product placement here.
Yes. Well,
Nailed it.
Sure.
Actually, I'm sorry, because people are asking me when that releases. And so I think it's second week in October. You
We've
guys
got
can
a
actually start
whole-
seeing the
We got a whole
collaborations.
Froning Farms T-shirt kind of collection. Some of my favorite shirts.
I believe
actually.
it comes
The
out
more-
Thursday, actually.
Yeah, we did a bunch of the shirts, so this podcast will be late, but
Yeah. So
the shirts are awesome. Actually,
when this comes out, I think that's live.
so some of my
Sweet.
favorite
Cool.
shirts.
Go buy some Burley Bow and Froning
Froning
Farms and Burley Bow Mayhem.
And Burley Bow Mayhem.
Yeah. Gentlemen, I just had the best time.
This was so good.
Got to go catch up on my Taylor Swift now.
No, I hate us
Uh-oh.
for bringing up Taylor Swift on this.
Edit it
podcast.
out,
So
Scott.
take
Who
this
did
out.
it?
I did actually, but
Yeah, you did.
I feel like dirty now that I did this. I'm
Gotta go take a
sorry.
shower
Once again,
now.
I failed you all. So, yep. All right. Well, in the comments, let us know what you want us to talk about since you hate hunting.
Yeah, since everyone
Just kidding.
hates
We're
hearing
still
us
going to
talk
talk about it because Angela's going to be back from a hunt. We're going to be back from some hunts. It's
Yes.
coming. It's coming this fall. And Mayhem Hunt is
We're gonna
coming
slaughter
the
'em in
beginning of January.
October.
Probably. Unless Jake pushes us back somehow technologically. But. All right. Peace.